All right, everybody. Today we got the Kashyyyk combat guide going on. We're going to be covering the 2 combat missions. We cannot do Wookiees just yet. We are still quite a bit behind on those. But we're going to be taking care of the 2 combat missions, the special mission and the fleet combat mission. To note about the platoons can be done on this planet to go ahead and make this easier for the fleet mission. But it can be done without it. It just increases the likelihood that you'll fail if you do it without the platoons. But it can definitely be done. It's just a little bit RNG, as are most combat missions with the Profundity, unfortunately, because it comes down to the RNG of the assists. I cannot wait for the platoons to be done because I have to go on vacation, and I can't do it tomorrow because I'm going to be on the ocean. So yeah, it's got to be done today, and we're going to go ahead and give it a try without the platoons just to give you an idea. But the platoons do make it a ton easier. Okay, we're going to do the fleet combat mission first, then we're going to do the combat missions, and we're going to end off with the special mission. Now, also important to note, because this affects the fleets, it doesn't affect the rest of the team. So you can go ahead and do the rest of the combat missions and the special mission without worrying about the platoons. But let's go ahead and get started here with the fleet combat mission. Go ahead, and as always, we make sure that our teams are loaded up in the squads manager. We're gonna go ahead and go to Kashyyyk. We're doing Profundity with the normal trio of rebel ships, and then we got the backup crew. They're not going to overall change things too much probably, but we like to start with our ghost or our phantom to go ahead and get the extra reinforcement, basically. So okay, let's go ahead and jump into that. This is not really autoable. I mean, you're just gonna increase your likelihood of loss, because basically this one is all about managing the stacks of formation on the enemy. So we're gonna go ahead and give extra damage over to Han's Millennium Falcon. It increases the damage, will increase the upload, and we'll jump up the turn meter just a little bit. It would have gone anyway, but then we go ahead and AoE and try to get rid of these TIE fighters. We did get rid of one. Unfortunately, this one's still up, but no worries. Then we're going to use our abilities here to kind of strategically get rid of the stacks of formation. We do need to get to upload, so we are going to make sure this, but it's important that you're targeting somebody that can lose the stacks of formation or die if you get an assist from MILF, or you get I don't think this will assist. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and target this one because it should die if Millennium Falcon goes ahead and assists, and we get that upload. There we go. So it gets rid of the stack of formation and the ship, which is important. So now we're gonna go ahead and target the scythe over here with the Rebel Y-Wings special so that we can get rid of the formation. It's hardly ever going to land protection disruption on there. That's just a fact of life. But yeah, okay, so undispellable formation. Then we're gonna go ahead and target the TIE Advanced 1 with Millennium Falcon to go ahead and strip off that formation. The basic dispels. Some people have not realized that yet, but the basic on Millennium Falcon dispels buffs. So we're gonna go ahead and target with the Outriders special, because that also dispels buffs. We're gonna dispel that from the Imperial TIE Fighter there. Get rid of all those stacks of formation and lay down some damage, hopefully get some good assists. Okay, 64%, we're already doing pretty good. Now we can just go ahead and target for damage. We're gonna go ahead and target the scythe. We're gonna use the double whammy with the Outrider. Go ahead and try to inflict some debuffs. If we can, oh, there it goes. All the debuffs go down. Perfect. That ability block, hopefully it won't be able to cleanse, right? So that's what we're aiming for here. Okay, still ability blocked, perfect. We're gonna go ahead and target it anyway, just to try to get it out of here, and we'll get those assists. There's no more stacks of formation to kind of manage. And then we go ahead and use the basic, and we should be at upload. There we go. Don't take any chances. Go ahead and get the capital ship gone, and then you should be home free pretty much. Now they can do some hefty damage depending on how things go, but typically if you stop Scythe from using his special, then you should be good. And then we can just go ahead and use that, and we're gonna go ahead and auto here now that Scythe is gone. But yeah, pretty straightforward. It gets a little bit easier with the platoon abilities, but you do not need them to get this done, as you can see here. That was pretty safe and straightforward. Okay, moving on. one down. We're gonna go ahead and start with the heftier combat mission, albeit the easier one if you have Jedi Master Mace Windu. So as you see in my previous videos, we do have access to Jedi Master Mace Windu. A lot of people are going to have this squad up and running pretty soon. Maybe not just yet, but this is a long-term video. So we're going to be using the Jedi Master Mace Windu, Depa, Jocasta New, Temple Guard, Aayla, Secura, the Jedi Vanguard squad, basically. And we do have Depa's Omicron here, which makes things tremendously easier. So no specific worries about remodding. You just go ahead and run it, hit it on auto. What you do want to do here occasionally is manual target. I mean, they'll probably still win regardless, but if you notice them getting stuck on the Imperial probe droid, you want to kind of go ahead and get them off of that, basically. And it can't hurt to go ahead and target the person that has investigation up to make sure you kind of land that. That'll just make the battle go quicker overall. So manual targeting definitely helps here. But again, you don't necessarily need it, and the battle goes fairly quickly because they just kind of go through the enemy here. It's not really a concern. But yeah, the sooner you land that revealed, it goes a lot quicker from there. So we should be wrapping this up. This would be a situation where they could easily get targeted, they get stuck on the Imperial probe droid. So that's another reason you want to manual target, just to kind of limit that. Mara Jade is the heftier one. I'm definitely going to try to focus Mara Jade here, get that revealed as soon as possible, and then should be home free from there. But you got to worry about those assists. They can look pretty scary, especially when they're going after a target like Aayla or something, or Jocasta. She's pretty squishy too. But yeah, as soon as you get the revealed, things start going down pretty quick. And then it's about managing the rest of the enemies. They'll do it though. Unfortunately, this team doesn't have a bunch of dispels. You're pretty much relying on Jocasta New there, but she's got to get to rifle form, and it's a big one. Admittedly, it's a big one. But yeah, this man, I think I don't know how much Aayla actually helps in a lot of cases. I think we'd probably be better off with a Shock T. Obviously, we have to use Shock T for the Jedi Zepho mission. So I mean, but just somebody with a spell, yeah, like Plo Koon might actually do pretty good. Just because this team could really benefit from a dispel, because it gets caught behind taunts quite a bit, and when you're trying to target the revealed person or target the investigated person, it can kind of throw things off. But yeah, you're never really in any danger here, as you can see. And we're moving on to the next one. Was that 2 minutes? So again, the time you'll save with manual targeting might be limited, but it is there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do the bottom combat mission now, and there's a number of things you could do, and this one's a hard one to get right too, but we're gonna go ahead and use I was on the Braca tab, Kashyyyk tab, and we're gonna go ahead and use these folks over here. We're gonna be doing Ahsoka Tano, and then we don't have General Syndulla upgraded, so it's just Padawan, Sabine, and Huyang that you normally have. Obviously Fulcrum comes with the kit, and then Ezra Bridger, so we're gonna go ahead and use those. Now Ezra, depending on how set up you are for the Zepho combat mission with Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, you might want to save him, and you can still do the mission. It just, your results are going to vary a little bit more, but this should be fine. We're going to go ahead and use him here. We have the Omicron on Jedi Knight Cal Kestis's lead, and the Omicron from Kyle Katarn, so hopefully we don't have to worry too much about what's going on down there, but who knows? Worst case scenario, you fail and you learn, you live and you learn, right? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and send this, and this is on auto as well. But again, it's one of those situations where you just want to manage the manual targeting. They should get, I believe, a ton of turn meter. And unlike the Jedi Vanguard, they have dispels on basic, so you should see them losing a lot of health from Ahsoka because they have turn meter manipulation. I think that's what it is, and they all just kind of kill themselves on Ahsoka. But it's the next stage that can be really kind of sketchy without Ezra, just because they have those mass assists, and who they target can, if they start clipping everybody out, taking everybody out, then Ahsoka definitely can die, especially when she gets by herself. So as always, you don't need to manual target, but it's going to increase your chances of likelihood of success. And even though the taunt gets dispelled, they could still find themselves stuck on the Imperial probe droid. I almost feel like they put the Imperial probe droid in these missions just to make sure that you had problems autoing. Personally, that's what I think they did, because it just seems like that's the main purpose. It interrupts things so much, but manual targeting still not too bad. Something you also could potentially manage while you're doing this mission, especially if you want to not do it on auto and have more success. What you can do is kind of make sure that Fulcrum doesn't exile permanently. She has a tendency to stay exiled for longer. They'll target other people and stuff, but she can end up dying because of that exile. So I like to personally get it off her pretty early on, and sometimes that takes a little bit of a manual configuration. Ezra didn't even look like he did a whole ton there, so I don't know, it might not be much more successful without Ezra. Go and try it without, use it for the Jedi mission, and see how your results vary there. Okay, but that one's all wrapped up. Now we're gonna do a little bit of remodding really quick. I have mine set up in hot utils, so we're gonna go ahead and hit that loadout real quick. It's gonna reload the game, and then I'll kind of go over the mods really quickly. The mods will be down in the description below, so you can kind of emulate those. I'm not gonna go over them too much. One, primarily because I didn't come up with them. I'm using predefined hot utils loadouts, or maybe not even predefined, just kind of whatever hot utils recommends, really. So I mean, you can spend a little bit more time. I'll kind of give you the general what you want, but I'm not going to have any specific targets. I don't think it really matters all too much, because this is going to be a full auto type mission with manual targeting, so maybe not full auto. But the one key thing that you're going to want to focus on is making sure you use the right ability with Saw Gerrera. Explain that once we get in there a little bit more. Did that reload affect the camera position? Nope. Okay. So as you can see, it makes modding a little bit easier, and you could also use the normal loadouts. I just wanted to go ahead and give hot utils a try because I previously didn't, and then I ended up deleting all my mods. We're saving Kyle Katarn for the Jedi mission, so don't use him unless you absolutely have to, because this does require Rebel fighters. But these are the guys we're going to go ahead and take in. We can take a look at what hot utils did here. It's pretty fast defensive mods, I think. We look at it, 335 still, 154 speed extra. So you can definitely go with a speed set. Previously I have gone and had no issues. Cassian, you want potency for the most part. Damage is not wasted on him. Damage on Drogan, pretty much nothing but. Then you want speed and potency on Captain Rex. And then just tank whatever Baze. Sometimes he dies and it's okay too. So, I mean, dies right out the gate. So we're gonna go ahead and send this. You kind of want to pre-taunt here, so this doesn't have to be Baze. This could be Baze. This could be, I've had people have success with what's her name, what's her face, I can't remember, the Cara Dune. I've had people have success with her, but she doesn't exactly pre-taunt, so it can get a little dicey. Luthen sets up a marked ally, so that can help quite a bit. But yeah, you just basically want a pre-taunt tank here if you can, so that way one of your other characters doesn't get nuked out from the beginning. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into this one. Now, the main important thing, if you run on auto, it's going to use the bombs first. If you don't run on auto and you're just not paying attention, or you just think you know what to do, you will use the bombs first in most cases, because that's just kind of the way that things go. You do not want to use the bombs first. You want to start off with this because it's an AoE blind, and that blind is going to help you survive. Ever since I started realizing that, and ever since I started using the blind, I have not lost this mission. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the blind and then hit full auto. And then what you can do is just target the ones, you want to target basically who has healing immunity. The death troopers or purge troopers are definitely the primary targets, but mostly you want to go ahead and target who has heal immunity. And make sure that doesn't happen where you get stuck on the Imperial probe droid by accident. So yeah, you're just looking for healing immunity. There we go. So you kind of stay on them until it's dead. The reason why Cassian is so great here is because he lays down the healing immunity. And if you don't lay down the healing immunity, then they have a copious amount of regen and makes this mission pretty difficult to beat. I don't even know if you can do it, honestly, without a source of heal immunity, because in a lot of these cases you just simply can't out damage what they're bringing. So you're just gonna full auto and then target around, and sometimes you'll miss it, and there's other sources of heal immunity. There you go, knock him out. It's going a lot faster than you, so sometimes you're not going to be able to keep up, but for the most part, if you're just paying attention to that and trying your best to make sure that you're doing it right, you're going to get there. Also, if you want to, another way to do it is focus on who's stunned. Pass around the stuns, basically. If somebody gets stunned, you go ahead and target somebody else and just kind of try to make sure that they can't swarm you, right? Because they're stunned. So order of priority is typically, for me, Purge Trooper, this guy, the Imperial Officer, and then this guy, and then leave the Magma Trooper. I think that's the Magma Trooper, and the Stormtrooper for last. If you have a choice and you don't get stuck behind things. But as you can see, Baze went out. That'll happen sometimes because of the swarm ability, but he's also there to die. So as long as that happens on him and not like Saw or Drogan or Captain Rex or Cassian, you're pretty much okay. So go ahead and target the Imperial Officer next. We could have targeted him, but he's blind. Again, he's not going to be able to do much. So kind of lay down the pain over here on somebody else. And then we'll switch targets. There you go. The heal immunity goes down and then he dies. We'll switch back over to this guy. Again, saving the Magma Trooper and the Stormtrooper for last. Focus on this one. It can be very dangerous if you end up getting stuck on an Imperial probe droid, because they could blow up and then just wipe people out, right? So that's another reason you need a manual target on this one, unfortunately. But it's ultimately one of the easier special missions in that regard. So that's kind of nice. It just takes a while, even on full auto. Mostly because they will end up healing if you don't have the healing immunity. Okay, and then you're just down to that last one. So that is pretty much everything on Kashyyyk. The combat missions, fleet mission, and the special mission all wrapped up. If you got usefulness out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want more content and guides like this, and hit the notification bell so you know when they all go live. Hope you guys have a good time this territory battle, and I'll see you when I get back from vacation. Have a good day. Bye.